welcome to Zero Snack Sandwich. Today I'm going to take a quick look at Lumen Finance. It's a peer-to-peer fixed interest rate lending protocol coming to Arbitrum. Now it's not live, as you can see. There's no join into the app. It's just a quick picture here. I've read through these docs. The docs are pretty clear, pretty easy to understand. I would suggest you to do the same. Read the docs. Okay, join their Telegram here. Ask some more questions, especially if you plan on using this or buying the governance token or investing in it in that way. This protocol was introduced to me by my Caesar shill list. I suggest you to also take part if you have a protocol and you would like a video. Just put your information into the Caesar shill list. I will put it in the tweet, and I'll try to remember to put it in the description of this video as well. Yeah, let's go over to the flowchart. I've basically read all of this, distilled it down into a flowchart, and we can learn how this thing works by watching that. Let's move over to there now. If you would like to support the channel, I would suggest you to check out the secretsandwich.xyz. It's the Secret Sandwich NFT project. You can come here, you can mint an NFT, or you can come and check out your NFTs. Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. We have dollar bill. He has some USDT. He wants to lend it out. He just wants easy money. He doesn't want to do a lot, so he comes to Lumen Finance to try to figure out how to do this. So it's pretty simple. He just deposits his USDT. The current collateral or the current assets that this protocol plans to support is USDC, USDT, and ETH. Now, a lot of my videos I use USDC, so today I decided to use USDT. Okay, give it a fair share in the spotlight. So he deposits his USDT into Lumen Finance here, and he has to set some perimeters when he decides to do that. So first thing he's going to do is decide on the interest rate he wants to charge for people to borrow his USDT. So whatever he feels acceptable. Okay. Then he's going to decide on the duration. The duration is set into 30 to 300 days, so a minimum of 30 days and a maximum of 300 days. And they call these terms, okay? So one term is 30 days. And you'll understand when I get into boosted bill borrowing and stuff why there are terms, okay? So you know, between one term and 10 terms, okay? And then there are some separations, okay? So what am I talking about here? So let's say he has 10,000 USDT and he wants to lend it. He could divide it up how he likes when he lends it. He could lend 3,000 at 3% for 30 days, 3,000 at 4% for 60 days, and 4 at 6% for 90 days, or whatever he likes. He can divide up his assets into different levels of like tiers and stuff, and try to have some that's easy to borrow and maybe some that's more expensive to borrow, or something like this, right? Now, these terms are, like I said, are quite important. Like each term, this would be one term. This would be 60 days would be 2 terms, and 90 days would be 3 terms. Okay, as I said before, when I get into boosted bill actually borrowing, then you will see why these come into play. So along comes boosted bill. He wants to borrow. The collateral, like I said, is just ETH, USDT, USDC, and I think because it's on ARB, they're going to use Arbitrum token as well. So the collateral, in this case, let's just say he's decided to use ETH, okay? So he has to deposit the collateral to borrow, right? So there's a collateral ratio of 120% and a 10% buffer. So if he wants to borrow anything, he has to put in at least 130% more in US dollars of collateral versus what he plans to borrow, okay? Now, in this case, so let's say he wanted to borrow $10,000, he would have to put $13,000 worth of ETH in as collateral to start with, okay? Now, when he does make a borrow, it prints off an NFT, and that NFT is transferable and can be moved around and changed to other wallets and stuff like this, okay, and it holds all the perimeters of the position he has borrowed. So, for example, let's say he wanted to borrow 10,000 USDT at 10%, like he's just super degen, whatever the reason, right? So 10% for 90 days. That's what he wants. Now, let's say in this case, Boosted Bill hasn't offered that, right? So there's actually platform capabilities for Boosted Bill to ask for this term, and then dollar bill could see it and either accept it or like disagree with it, or someone else could come along and see it and be like, hey, I'll do that, right? So in this case, 10,000 10,000 USDT for at 10% for 90 days. So he's going to owe, in 90 days, he's going to owe $1,000, right? Now this is where the terms come in, okay? So he owes 333 USDT every 30 days. So at the end of every term, he has to have paid that shares of the interest rate. So he could prepay, like he could just be like, I'm going to borrow $10,000 and then I'm going to immediately repay $1,000, have $9,000, take that out to degen with whatever he plans to do, right? So that's possible he could do that, okay? Now keep in mind that this interest rate, 10%, is pretty high. Maybe it would be much lower or some other number, okay? So he can repay whenever he wants, however he likes, but he has to repay every 30 days the amount that's owed every 30 days. Now, because he's borrowing and the protocol wants him to borrow, it doesn't want just people to lend and it just sits there idle. They want borrowing. They're going to incentivize these people to borrow. Okay, so based on, it's kind of like a refund or a rebate on your interest. So the amount of interest that has to be paid per day, he is streamed $1 of Lumen tokens for $1 of interest rate per day. So I'm not going to go through the math in this because I can't really do it in my head really quick, but you get the idea. So if he has to pay $1 of USDT every day based on the perimeters he borrowed, then he will get $1 of Lumen tokens every day that he can claim. Now, what can he do with these Lumen tokens? Of course, he can stake them. Now, what would be a governance token if you couldn't stake it, right? So he can single-side stake it inside there. Now, this staking protocol or this staking contract has a 30-day no-share cooldown. So you stake it in, and then you can initiate the cooldown to remove it. But once you've initiated it, then you won't get any benefits of the staking. Okay, so you stake it and you get fee shares and stuff like this. I'll go through that in a second. But once you decide, oh, I want to get my money out of here, I want to take my Lumen tokens out of here so I can, I don't know, whatever, sell them, give them to somebody, whatever you want to do with them. You have to initiate 30-day cooldown, and during that 30 days, you get nothing. Okay, so along comes Ninja Nick. Ninja Nick is going to be the liquidator, and he's going to liquidate Boosted Bill because Boosted Bill has been a bad boy. Okay, so the things that the liquidator is looking at is the collateral ratio. So does this collateral go down to below or exactly 120% of the amount that he's borrowed, okay? He doesn't care about the buffer. The buffer is here just to make sure the Boosted Bill is not super degen, okay? So he doesn't immediately get liquidated, right, by putting in exactly 120%, right? And then the price moves a tiny bit and he gets liquidated. So they have this 10% buffer just to keep his degeneracy down a little bit, okay? So, and he can over-collateralize much more than this if he wanted to. So let's say, okay, Ninja Nick is here. He's watching the collateral ratio, and he's also watching the repayments. If Boosted Bill is a bad boy and he doesn't repay his, he doesn't pay his interest every 30 days, then he could get liquidated for that, or if his collateral reduces in value. So, in order for Ninja Nick to actually be a liquidator, he has to stake Lumen tokens equal to the amount of money he's going to get by liquidating. Okay, so how much money will he get if he liquidates? So in this case, whenever he initiates the liquidation, basically, he takes a flash loan, he repays the debt, he takes the collateral, sells the collateral, right? All this kind of stuff. When he initiates this liquidation, he gets 25%. So the value of this 25% of the collateral, right? He has to have that much locked away in Lumen tokens, staked away, okay? So 25% goes to him, 25% goes to the lender because, he gets a little, his assets were at risk, right? 25% goes to the Lumen protocol for development team funds, stuff like that, and 25% of the liquidation goes to whoever has staked in Lumen tokens in here. So the liquidator gets a little bit more if you think about it. He gets 25% plus he gets his pro rata share of this other 25%, okay? So now let's talk a little bit more about Boosted Bill. Let's say Boosted Bill owes $1,000, right? Now when he wants to repay, he wants to pay these $1,000 in these 333 chunks or whenever he pays, right? It's not all goes to the the lender over here, in this case dollar bill. $900 goes to it, and there's a fee of 10%. Okay, so the 10% fee comes out of the repayment of these interest payments. Okay, whenever they are paid, however they are paid. So what do these fees? How do these fees get divided up? Pretty simple. 25% of those fees will go to the Lumen stakers. 25% goes to the protocol for development and all this kind of stuff. And then 50% goes to Uniswap to swap for Lumen tokens. Those Lumen tokens are shared 50-50 that are swapped, right? 50-50 are so half of them are burned, and the other half are auto-staked and given back to him as a kind of share of taking the risk of borrowing using the protocol. So I like this idea here, because they're kind of lessening the blow on him. He's always going to have his 10,000 that he borrowed if he gets liquidated, and when it's encouraging him to pay his debts, so pay his interest. If he pays his interest, he gets more Lumen tokens staked. So that's kind of cool, right? Now again, those tokens are under this 30-day cooldown period. So that's pretty much it for this today. I hope this has been useful and interesting. I find it to be pretty clever, and I really like it. I like these ideas of having fixed rate interest borrowing for set durations. I like the mechanics that they've put in here to incentivize the repayment of debt and all of this kind of stuff. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.